The Andorian's skull cracked sickeningly as the human slammed his face into the metal bar, blue blood splattering and antennae twitching. "Please don't provoke the humans. That's the only warning you'll ever get," Caleb growled, releasing his grip. The Andorian, Provoke, slumped into the seat across from Caleb, glowing neon drink forgotten, eyes wide with primal fear. He had heard the stories every species had about the sheer ferocity and danger of the human race. But to see it firsthand, even just a small taste, shook Provoke to his core. "I've seen things, kid. Things that would make your blue skin crawl." Caleb took a long swig from his own luminescent drink, the dim light of the space station bar casting harsh shadows across his battle-scarred face. When the Andorians invaded Earth, they thought it would be easy pickings, just another primitive race to conquer and subjugate. But we showed them the depths of human wrath. Provoke leaned forward, morbid curiosity temporarily overcoming his terror. What did you do?" A dark chuckle escaped Caleb's lips. "We fought, with every ounce of strength and will we had. They had the tech, the numbers, the firepower, but we had something they could never understand, a fierce, unbreakable determination to protect our home, our families, our very existence." He fixed Provoke with a stare that seemed to pierce through to his soul. "You want to know why you should never provoke the humans? Because when push comes to shove, when our backs are against the wall and all hope seems lost, that's when we shine. That's when we tap into a savage, indomitable spirit that refuses to yield no matter the odds." Caleb's voice dropped to a whisper, each word weighted with the toll of a war that nearly consumed 2 species. The Andorians learned that lesson the hard way, and if the rest of the galaxy has any sense, they'll learn from your people's mistake. Because if they don't, if they dare to threaten our world again, we will unleash a fury unlike any the universe has ever seen, and God help whoever stands in our way. The Andorian sat in stunned silence as Caleb continued his tale, his voice low and intense. "See, the Andorians had superior tech, but we had superior tactics. We adapted, we improvised, and we used every dirty trick in the book." Caleb's eyes glinted with fierce pride as he described humanity's unconventional strategies. "We hacked their drones, turning them against their own troops. We lured their soldiers into traps using holograms and decoys. We even weaponized our own planet, using the Earth's natural defenses against them." He leaned forward, his scarred face illuminated by the bar's dim light. "I remember one battle in the ruins of what used to be Sydney. The Andorians had us pinned down, outnumbered and outgunned, but we had a secret weapon, the drop bears." Provoke's antennae twitched in confusion. "Drop bears? What are those?" Caleb grinned, a feral expression that sent shivers down Provoke's spine. "They're a species of carnivorous koala, native to Australia. They drop down from trees onto their prey, tearing them apart with razor-sharp claws and venomous fangs." He took a swig of his drink, savoring the memory. "We lured the Andorians into a trap, right into the heart of drop bear territory. It was a massacre. The bears dropped from the trees, latching onto the Andorians' faces and necks. Blue blood sprayed everywhere as the soldiers screamed and fired wildly." Caleb chuckled darkly. "The Andorians never saw it coming. They thought they knew everything about Earth's wildlife, but they were wrong. We used every weapon at our disposal, even the ones they didn't know existed." Provoke hangs on to every word as Caleb recounts humanity's darkest hour. "The Andorians weren't satisfied with just invading. They wanted to break us, make an example out of Earth to any other species that dared to resist." Caleb's knuckles go white as he grips his glass. "They targeted population centers, London, New York, Tokyo, Mumbai. Millions dead in an instant as their ships rained hellfire from above." Caleb's eyes harden, a haunted look that speaks of unimaginable horrors. But all they did was awaken a sleeping giant. Humanity united like never before, every man, woman and child ready to lay down their lives to protect our home. He leans forward, voice low and intense. "I was handpicked for a Black Ops mission, the kind they don't write about in the history books. We had one goal: cripple the Andorian fleet by any means necessary." Caleb describes how his team managed to infiltrate an Andorian command ship using stolen cloaking devices. It was like something out of a spy movie. We snuck aboard, planting charges at critical systems, engines, life support, you name it. A grim smile plays at the corner of his mouth. But that was just the beginning. Our real payload was a computer virus, nasty little thing cooked up by our top programmers. Once we uploaded it, it spread like wildfire through the Andorian fleet's network. Caleb's eyes glint with savage pride. It was beautiful, in a terrifying sort of way. Their shields failed, weapons offline, ships dead in space, like shooting fish in a barrel for our attack wings. Korvac sits back, stunned by the audacity of it all. That's incredible. I had no idea humans were capable of such ruthlessness. Caleb snorts derisively. Ruthless, we did what we had to do to survive. Caleb's eyes shine with unshed tears as he speaks, his voice rough with emotion. The war took everything from us, our homes, our families, our innocence. We fought with everything we had, but in the end, what did we really gain? He shakes his head, his shoulders slumping under the weight of his memories. I watched my best friends die in front of me, their blood staining the ground red. I held my sister in my arms as she took her last breath, her body broken by Andorian weapons. Caleb's hand trembles as he sets his empty glass on the table, the clink of glass on metal echoing in the sudden silence. We thought we'd won, that we'd finally shown the galaxy what humanity was made of. But the price was too high, the cost too great. He looks up at Korvac, his eyes burning with a fierce intensity. And now, after all we sacrificed, your people are back, probing our defenses, looking for weaknesses, waiting for the right moment to strike. Caleb leans forward, his voice dropping to a whisper. But we're ready for you. We've learned from our mistakes, and we won't be caught off guard again. If you push us, if you try to take what's ours, we'll push back. And this time, we won't stop until your entire species is nothing but a bad memory. He stands abruptly, his chair scraping against the floor. Remember that, Andorian. Remember what we're capable of. Because if you forget, if you make the same mistake your ancestors did, we'll remind you. And it won't be pretty. Caleb tosses a handful of credits onto the table, the metal coins clattering against the surface. Consider this a warning, from one soldier to another. Don't fuck with the humans, because if you do, we'll make you regret it for the rest of your very short lives. He turns and walks away, his footsteps heavy on the metal floor. Korvac sits frozen, his antennae quivering with fear as he watches the human disappear into the crowd. The weight of Caleb's words hangs in the air, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurks beneath humanity's surface. The neon haze of the space station bar faded behind Caleb as he stepped out into the dimly lit corridor, the metal grating clanking beneath his boots. But his solitude was short-lived as a group of Andorian thugs emerged from the shadows, their eyes glinting with malevolent intent. The leader, a battle-scarred Andorian with a cybernetic eye, sneered at Caleb. Well, if it isn't the great Caleb Phillips, the hero of the human resistance, drinking away his sorrows in a backwater bar. Caleb sighed, his hand instinctively drifting towards the plasma pistol holstered at his hip. I'm not looking for trouble, boys, just trying to enjoy my retirement in peace. The Andorian leader let out a harsh, grating laugh. Peace? There can be no peace between our species, human, not after what you did to us. He gestured to his cybernetic eye, the metal glinting in the low light. I lost this in the war, fighting against your kind, and now I'm going to take something from you in return. The Andorians drew their weapons, a mix of plasma rifles and crackling electro-whips. But Caleb was faster, his pistol leaping into his hand with practiced ease. He fired off 2 quick shots, dropping 2 of the thugs before they could even bring their weapons to bear. But the Andorians had numbers on their side, and they were too close for Caleb to pick them off one by one. An electro-whip lashed out, snaring Caleb's wrist and sending his pistol clattering to the floor. A plasma bolt sizzled past his head, grazing his shoulder and burning through his jacket. Caleb gritted his teeth against the pain, ignoring the searing heat of the plasma burn. He charged forward, closing the distance between himself and the Andorian leader in a heartbeat. They crashed to the ground, grappling and trading blows. Caleb's genetically enhanced strength matched against the Andorian's cybernetic augmentations. It was a brutal, bloody fight, but in the end it was Caleb who emerged victorious. His hands closed around the Andorian's throat, squeezing the life from his enemy with grim determination. "This is what happens when you provoke the humans," Caleb growled, his voice low and menacing. "We fight back and we don't stop until the job is done." He stood, surveying the carnage around him with a soldier's eye. The Andorian thugs lay dead or dying, their blue blood mingling with the spilled drinks and shattered glass that littered the floor. Caleb knew that this was just the beginning, that the Andorians would keep pushing, keep provoking, until the humans had no choice but to push back. And when that day came, he would be ready. Ready to fight, ready to kill, ready to do whatever it took to protect his species. Because that was what humans did. They survived no matter the cost, and heaven help anyone who tried to stand in their way. You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.